Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for December 2027. This is the last of 2020 of these updates, so I made it to the end of the year, and I don't know if I missed more than one. So I think I did pretty good this year, but then again, I didn't go anywhere. Anyway, so we're just gonna jump into this. I did want to say I hope everybody had a good holiday, either if you celebrated or not. Hopefully you had days off. I took a couple extra days because I didn't take enough time during the year because I kept, just in case, I held them, and so I had to use them by the end of the year, and so I used, I got Wednesday and Thursday off as well as Friday. So it's been a nice 5-day weekend for me, and I did get a lot of reading done. I got through 7 things this week, but then I kind of just fell off, so we'll talk about that. Just a quick update. We did not go down and see my parents, so my brother and I had Christmas up here. We did do Zoom with my parents to open presents and stuff, so that was weird, but we did it. It's not like it was a lot of things, so anyway, it was just, it was weird to do that, but at least we got to see each other, even if it's through a screen. And my brother made prime rib, which, was really good. And yes, he's the one who cooks. I don't cook. But it's because he did Thanksgiving and this. I did all the sides, but he does the meat. And so, but I do owe him. I'm making pizza, or I'm making a pizza hot dish. It's a casserole on New Year's for us to split. So at least I'm making something. Anyway, so. Anyway, so it was a weird Christmas for us. It was very, very quiet. I was not used to that. Again, we have family things that are usually a lot going on, especially Christmas Eve. We usually see all my mom's side of the family, and it's just, that was kind of weird not to go anywhere Christmas Eve. I felt really weird being home with the cats, but that's kind of what happened. I did watch Hogfather on Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas Day, I started my annual watch of Lord of the Rings. So I watched Fellowship of the Rings on Christmas, and then yesterday I watched Two Towers, and today I'll Return of the King. So anyway, that's kind of how it's going here. So anyway, so it's been a really quiet week. So I have got as I said, I got 7 things done this week. They're not huge or long or anything. It's just, that's just kind of, I read a lot of pages on one day, but, really, I read a lot, and then, as I said, then I fell off the wagon. So let's talk about the things that I read this week, the things I'm in the middle of, and then what I think I'm going to read in the next week. So on Sunday, I finished the collection of novellas, How the Dukes Stole Christmas, which has a story from Tessa Dare, Sarah McLean, Sophie Jordan, and Joanna Shoup. And so I was in the middle of the Sophie Jordan story, which was like a Home Alone ripoff for an heiress who's in the Highlands, and her family forgets her when there's bad weather. They all run off in the morning, and she slept in a little bit because she had been up late reading. I love that. Anyway, point is that she then the Lord comes to, the local Lord comes to get her because her and the servants shouldn't be in that big house out in the out in the Highlands by themselves, because there are brigadiers out, trying to steal things. So they, so then again, it's their story, and I just really enjoyed this. I really liked it, but I looked up her catalog, like of her backlist, and none of the other stories sound anything like this one, and now I'm like, oh, I don't know. So I don't even know if, I kind of want to read another one of her books, but so far none of the premises are really catching me, so if you have any suggestions, I'm all good with that. And then I tried to read the Joanna Shoup short story, and I did not enjoy it. I actually really detested it, but it follows again, which is the problem I had with the Sarah McLean, is that it was a trope that I don't get along with. Sarah McLean was a second chance romance, which I always have trouble with those, unless it's persuasion. But Joanna Shoup it was a lying trope, which I always have trouble with, people lying about who they are, what they know, and stuff. And it just gets to me after a while. And it was a reporter in New York, and she, again, in the 1800s, and so she's trying to, she does this article where she pretends to be a married woman who is pretty socially involved, but, you know, again, she's using a pseudonym, and so she has all these wild lies about who she is and what she does, and then she has to put on a party, and she doesn't know anything, like, she just writes the stuff, she doesn't actually do anything. So then there's this whole line between her and the one who's in charge of the newspaper, and I got about halfway and I just DNF'd it. I couldn't handle it. It did every trope of that having the lying premise to the spiraling out of control. I just didn't care to me. So anyway, I didn't like that one so much. But again, overall, I gave this a 3 because of the very results of how I felt about it, because I really liked the Sophie Jordan one, and the Tessadero was fairly good, and then the Sarah McLean was written really well. It just wasn't a trope I liked, so it was just docked a little bit because it was a little long and it was not my favorite trope. And then again, I did like the last one. So anyway, overall, I liked it, but you know, it's always a good collection. I mean, again, it gave me 3 new authors to look into, so I still want to pick up stuff by definitely Sarah McLean. I want to try something else. I think I have a couple books on my shelf, and then I want to look for something for Sophie Jordan. So if you have any recommendations, I'm all for it. Then I picked up another Christmas ebook, is the Earl's Christmas Pearl. So this is like in the middle of a series, but it stood alone pretty well for me, even though it probably would have helped to know all the characters. But I definitely liked this writing, and I probably will maybe start this series. I'm not sure. And again, it's from the Duke's Daughters series. Anyway, so by Megan Frampton. So this has it where Pearl is left at home. I had 2 of them that were like that. I just read them together because it was... And again, I'd heard about this one last year, so I'd bought it earlier this month so that I would be able to read it for Christmas. Anyway, so this has to do with Pearl, who is left at the townhouse in London. Her mother gets all her things all packed up and just leaves and forgets her there. And like, she's standing there on the stoop waiting for her to come back, and she doesn't come back. And so she's like, her mother obviously forgot her completely that she was there. Anyway, so she's home alone. She's all excited, except that all the servants have left. There's no food in the house, and she doesn't know how to build a fire. So she meets the next door neighbor, Owen, who is an earl from Wales, and he's there convalescing because he had an injury, which was funny anyway. But it was a really severe one considering what happened, and so he's there getting medical help and stuff, and so he's also very grumpy, and he's got a cute little dog, and but anyway, she comes over to ask his help after she tried to do stuff on her own, and again, it's their little love story. I just really enjoyed this. It was just fun, and I definitely, there's a few absurd things, but again, that's with historical romances are kind of like that. So this is one I think I want to go back and read one, like the first book of this series. I'm not quite sure. If you guys have read Megan Frampton, let me know if this is the series I should start with. I mean, I enjoyed this short story, but again, I don't have to go this one. I mean, I know she has quite a few, so again, any suggestions, let me know. Then, let's see here, so then, so then, the Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Get ready for a rant. Here we go. So this is my second nemesis of the year. So Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte has been my nemesis for 20-some years. I mean, I started to read that in college and never could finish it. And I tried it like 3 times, and then the 4th time I did it on audio this year and finally finished it. And I gave it a 3 by the end because I could appreciate it, but I didn't like it all. Like it was nothing really what I thought it was going to be. I was kind of like, anyway. So, but the Tenant of Wildfell Hall, I started a couple of years ago. And now I can't remember if it was 3 or 2 years ago. And I got, what did I get? 119 pages in. And if you know the chapter 14, you know why I stopped, because I'm so mad at the main character, Gilbert. And then I read a little bit more a couple months later, so I got to 163, and then I DNF'd it again. And then this year, I was like, okay, now that I finished Wuthering Heights, I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to conquer this other Bronte and get it done. And so I started listening to the audiobook, and I started from the beginning again, because it had been a year or 2 since I'd read the other part. And so I read it, so I listened to it all the way until we got to page Oh, what did I get to? I got to page 559, and then I stopped listening to the audiobook. And I had still a week left of the audiobook from the library, but my brain just was like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. I don't want to, I don't want to listen to this anymore. So I DNF'd it again in early November. And then I tried, the audiobook came back to me, so yeah, earlier this week. So it came back. So I thought, so the first 2 days of I worked Monday and Tuesday. So I thought, okay, I'll listen to the audiobook in the car and get it at least started, and then I'll have it for 3 weeks so I can get it done. Well, I listened to another what did I get? So I got about like 25 pages more, and then I go, no, I'm not listening to this audiobook. And so I was, so I'm at 386, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? And I'm like, I just want to get this done. I'm just done. And so I, decided to just, I thought, okay, well, I'll just skim a little bit. Like, I'll read parts of it and then just kind of do it. So the first, like, chapter or two, that's what I did, trying to get myself just beyond what I didn't like. And again, I was so close to the end of where the perspective changes again. Because again, this starts with Gilbert, and he is, a farmer, and he is intrigued by this woman called Helen Graham, who and her young child move into Wildfell Hall in the neighborhood, and it's all very weird how she, she's very secretive, and he, of course, is super, super attractive. Anyway, attracted to her, and it just goes from there, and he just like makes all these wrong assumptions, and he's just off his head. Anyway, the point is, and then at some point she gives him her diary, which again, point is, she gives her, so in the middle section, like the most part of the novel, is her diary of what happened to her and how she got there, and it is a horrible story of her marriage. And so then we get back to where she finishes it, where the diary says where she gets to Wildfell Hall, and then we go back to Gilbert's perspective for the last 100 pages, and I was not happy to be back there. I hate him so much. Anyway, but I started reading, but I started reading it. Like, I wasn't just skimming. Like, there were some times where I'd be like, not amped to read every word, like, but I was reading, I actually read at least the last 100 pages. I would say a little bit over the last 100 pages, like the last 125 pages I read, actually. So it's not like I skimmed too much, but I was just hate reading this, like hate reading. And I think, okay, so I did finish. So here we go. I finished my second Nemesis of the year. I am excited. Another Bronte book done. I'm glad I'm done with this. So again, this comes back to is I really enjoyed Agnes Grey. And this book was a super letdown for me on the way who the characters are and how they act on certain things. I can see how like revolutionary or how different this book is in that time period from the other books I've read in the Victorian era. I can see the merit of her story compared to what was probably being written at that time. I get all that, and her writing isn't bad. That isn't my problem with this. It really is that I hate the way this book went, mostly because Gilbert is, I hate him. Like, he is one of my most hated characters. Like, I probably should hate Helen's husband more, but I don't. Actually, I hate Gilbert much more. He is so unsympathetic to anybody's plight but his own. Like, he is just, like, the most selfish person, like, again, and the husband's pretty selfish, but this drove me crazy, and I hated him so much. Like, anyway, but the point is that I finished this, and I understand people are going to love parts of this. Like, there are some beautiful passages in here. This was good writing, and I think she took a lot of chances, and I really applaud her for that, and for her themes, and what she was trying to accomplish. I don't think the journal in the center was the best idea. I think I agreed with the little essay that they had in the back here. I can't remember who wrote the essay, but Winifred Guerin, and that helped a lot to read that essay that came in the back of this, because it did kind of explain a little bit more about Bramwell and and Anne's relationship and how this was in his history. And again, I don't know a lot about the Brontes. I definitely want to pick up a biography on them once I finish the last of the Charlotte books, which I have 2 more. But this book, as much as there is good merit in here, and I'm glad I forced myself to read this, as much as I hated almost every moment of this book, and I'm glad I got to the end and I actually can say how much I hate it and why I hate it. And again, I hated the end, so I'm not going to spoil why I hate the end. I just think if I hate Gilbert so much, you probably know why I hate the end of this book. That did not want that ending at all. Like, no. I don't believe it at all. Like, it's the most unbelievable ending to me. Anyway, this book did not go well for me. Anyway, but it's finished. I actually conquered this. It is done. As I said, classics are the only books I feel compelled to actually finish usually, because there's usually some talk around it. There's discussions. There's things going on that I will read in other books. So I needed to know what happened, and I hadn't been spoiled for how it went, and I'm glad, because again, it's not one of the most well-known of the Brontes. I do think it's something to be studied. I think there is a lot of good stuff in here. I hated this. I gave it 1 star. That is my but again, it's my experience and my things that I did not like, and again, I can appreciate that it was for what it is in some ways. But my God, I hated this book. So I don't know if that rant made any sense whatsoever. And I tried not to spoil what I didn't, you know, it's hard. It's hard. I don't want to give that away because it's the end of the book. And again, I hated it all the way through. And just know it's mostly Gilbert. And then, yeah, and again, her moralizing in a lot of things didn't help a lot. That was Cooper. Anyway, you know, and I get that that was part of the story, and again, Helen comes off sometimes a little too, like an angel, and then she's not, and then it's just kind of like, I don't know, it was, you know, point is, I did not like that book. Anyway, so then I got a couple of library books on Wednesday. Iberly and a Half by Ali Broche is one I've seen on, usually in Nonfiction November, a lot of people are talking about this memoir graphic novel. And I've seen pictures of her online for years, and it wasn't like, I knew about this book, I just, I never got around to reading it. I think it was 2013. And I know that yeah, 2013. So I'd seen it, but I'd never picked it up or anything. And then, I think I saw it in some people's Nonfiction November, you know, like some people were talking about it during Nonfiction November. So I put it on my list, and I got it from the library. And, so I read this in a couple of days. Because it's mostly, you know, it's a graphic novel, so there is writing. So it did take me some time, but it wasn't, you know, it was so, I thought this was so moving. I was surprised at how funny it was on her, the ones that talks about funny things she did as a kid, or just the way she looks at the world a little, you know, a little differently than I would. But I liked, those differences. Like, it was different. Like, I would never do some of the things she did or think that, but I think it was so funny. The cake one is my favorite, though. To say that was hilarious. But then there's this really great section on her depression, and I think that is what a lot of people react more, I mean, emotionally. I'm laughing with all the other things, but the hard-hitting part is her description of her depression. And so it was, I think it was really eye-opening for some, like, again, I have not ever suffered from a depression that was so debilitating, and I've been very lucky that way, and I know people who have, and it's much more eye-opening to see how that person feels in that, and how they can't fix that, or, you know, they can't just, you know, feel better. And I thought she did a really good job in that. And I did put a hold on the next one, the one that just came out, which I can't remember the name of, but anyway, so I'm hoping to get to another one of the other one that she got out. So I really recommend this for, again, it's a good laugh, but and again, a lot of other dogs. Oh, there's so ups and downs in this, and I think she did such a good job of that. It's not all depressing, and it's not all super hilarious over the top. It's a very good mixture, and I thought it was really well done, and I really enjoyed that. Let's see. Oh, then that's right. Also, that day I picked up at the library The Mistletoe Murder and Other Stories by P.D. James. So this is a small collection of 4 short stories that P.D. James wrote for, I think, a newspaper or something for during the holidays. And I've read P.D. James. I've read at least 5, I think, of the Adam Douglas series. I definitely have to read more. I forgot how much I liked her writing, and this definitely reminded me, because it's kind of a more literary mystery in the way that she writes. I really liked her books. I think because I think the one I have to read next is The Taste for Dead, and it's huge. So, which I have, because I got partway through it and I had to give it back to the library when I was reading them from the library. And then I bought a copy, and then I just never got around to it. So I need to go back to that, because I really want to get back to that series. It was really good. But this one is 4 stories. 2 of them are just new characters and stuff, and then the last 2 have Adam Douglas in it. And I really liked them. Actually, I was super surprised. So like the first one, which is The Mistletoe Murder, I guessed the answer really early, but I liked the way that we went through it to see what actually happened. And I liked the progress of that one. So that one wasn't like a surprise on what happened. I guessed it, but I liked seeing how it came about, and I thought that was cool. A Very Commonplace Murder, which is the second story, completely, wow, I did not catch that one. That one, I didn't think of that the way it was going to go. So that was really a good one. And then, oh, the Boxdale Inheritance. That one, yeah, that one was like, I was like okay with that one. It was kind of just a normal mystery. It was no big deal. It was kind of just a little bizarre, with the way the death went. It was just weird. Anyway, but I thought it was fine. And then the 12 Clues of Christmas. Oh no, that's wrong. No, the Boxdale Inheritance is, no, I got them mixed up. The Boxdale Inheritance one, I was not sure how that was going to go. That was weird. And I did like that book, or that story, because that has him researching for a friend, his godfather, a mystery that happened to his grandfather. So it was like an old time one. It was that was cool. That was a good one. Sorry, I got confused. The last one, the 12 Clues of Christmas, was just kind of just a little odd little story. That was the one with the weird murder, like as in bizarre. Anyway, to me. Anyway, overall, I really enjoyed this. I saw this on Instagram on Mel, who was here on Mel's Bookland Adventure before. So she was doing a mystery advent, which she's done before. And one of the books that she put up was this one. And I think the day that it popped up, I was going to the library. So I asked them for it because I saw it was in stock. So they got it. So I got it and I read it right away. So I'm really glad I read that. And I'm hoping to pick up more P.D. James this next year, because I forgot how much I enjoyed her writing. So that was really good. And I definitely recommend, if you can get through mystery short stories, I really enjoyed those. Okay, so then I also finished on that same day. Let's see, is it going to stay on that picture? Yeah. Is A Shifter for Christmas by T.S. Joyce. So I've read a couple of her werebear ones. They're ones that are they're shifters, that are in, they're out in the woods, and they're cute. I've read 4 of them. I think I have like 2 or 3 more to read of those. So I'm going to get back to these because I haven't read her in a couple of years. I think it was like last year I read those. Anyway, so this one is the first one in her Shifters for the Holidays, I think, series. I think there's going to be a second one that comes out after in January for New Year's. I think it's a Shifter for New Year's. So I'm going to read that. But this is just cute. It wasn't super long. It was, actually, I think it was 116 pages, so it wasn't very long. And so it has to do with a woman who puts in an ad in the paper that she needs a shifter boyfriend for the Christmas holidays, because her family just does not understand her being single. And I think I don't remember if she's like 30 but she's like the last, like nobody else is unmarried. So she's the only one. And so she just gets, shit all the time because she's not married. And coming from someone who isn't married and isn't going to be married, I totally get it. But it was cute. So she comes from a really wealthy family. So this guy who needs money for a house that he inherited from his parents, at their untimely death. So, but the property taxes are so property taxes are so high that he needs extra money every year at the end of the year. So his brother gives him a little bit of money, but he also says, you should go and do this ad. And he says, but the ad says not to be a predator, can't be a predator, you know, a non-predatory shifter, because their rules are different. And again, this is different from her other worlds, I think. I don't know. Again, all the shifter rules always change in every book. So, but this one, it has where if you're the predator shifters, they have different rules and different regulations of when you mate and things like that, you know. So of course he lies and tells her he's an otter. It was so funny. Anyway, but it's really a fun, cute little story. I really enjoyed the characters. I liked their interactions. They were just very much themselves and very, you know, very crazy. And then her family's all this straight-laced, and she's not. She's, you know, she has a pottery store, and she's just very artistic, and I just love her. Anyway, so this was really cute. I'm really glad I read that. And I need to get back to some of her other, and again, those are like self-published shifter romances, which are just fun. I love those, and they're really good palate cleansers, you know, but I haven't read any in a while. So I definitely, as I said, I have a couple of the Werebears still to read. And then she's got like dozens others that I can read. She writes, they're really short. They're all short and they're easy reads. Anyway, so if you're looking for a new author, T.S. Joyce is a good one. I think they're fun. What else did I finish? Oh, and then I've had this sitting next to on the couch, and because I cleaned out the couch for when my brother came over and we did the Zoom with my parents, I have the Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. Sorry. So this is a short story from 1892. I had this in my little Black Classics, the box set that I had. I found it when I was looking for stuff for Victober, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know I had this, and I have not read this since college. So this is the first story was a reread for the Yellow Wallpaper, because I can remember it, and I do remember it. Like, I didn't remember the end, you know, exactly, but again, I remember the gist of it. And it was just as creepy and as weird and sad, and, you know, as it was the first time I read it. And again, it's about a woman who is, has to stay in this house, and her husband, who is a physician, wants her to do almost nothing and just, you know, lay around and sit around and don't do anything to get her better after a trauma kind of thing. And so she, and again, the room that they put her in is this upper room that's really light and bright, except it has this horrible yellow wallpaper, and it's just her descent while in that room. And it is a fantastic short story. I mean, again, I am not a short story person at all, but this was one of the ones I remember from college that I really enjoyed. I still think the ending, again, I always have trouble with endings in short stories, but again, it was just weird. But this one also, so I would recommend that. It's really short. Again, in this one, it's only 27 pages, so it was really a short one. The other two stories, the Rocking Chair and the Old Water, were both weird. The Rocking Chair was more of a ghost-like story, and it went where I did not think it was going to go. It was like two friends who go to find this new place to live. And again, I think this was in 1894. I can't remember. I think so. Let's see here. 1893 was when that one was published, and they're going to a boarding house, and they see a person in the window that, you know, a woman with blonde hair, and so they go to this place and rent these rooms that has this big rocking chair in there, and they hear the rocking chair in the night and think the other one is making the noise and blah, you know, and then they both, you know, there's things that they see the other person doing, but the other person's like, no, I didn't do that, blah, blah. And it's really, so it was kind of a spooky, and it went there at the end. I was not expecting that, so there's that one. And then Old Water was originally published, what did I just say, in 1911. And it has to do with a young woman who is being pursued by a poet who she's not really attracted to. She doesn't care about poetry or anything. Her mom's more the one who likes him, and she's much more, and the girl is much more practical, and she's like, I don't want all this stuff that you're thinking about. And it just descends, and then the end is just fantastic. Like, I was jaw dropped. I thought it was really good. So again, I don't like short stories very well, but I would say if I was going to read some short stories, I would read more of Charlotte Perkins Gilman because I really liked them overall. Like, it was really, really well done. So actually, it was really weird that I had 2 short story things that I actually really liked. It's very unusual for me. So let's see here. Is that all the stuff I finished? I think that's all the stuff I finished. Okay. So yeah. So I did finish a lot of things. They're all little things and just kind of like on the spur of the moment. But I think the reason why is because I did something stupid. And the thing that I shouldn't ever do is start 2 big books at the same time. And now going into the new year, I am going to be focusing on trying to read some of my bigger books. And I need to remember this because I've just done it to myself. And I knew that this would be a problem. And it's happened to me before and I just forgot because I got my mind thinking that I could do it. No. So I'm going to have to be very careful with this. As I said, I have to be able to do mixed story sizes and, I mean, maybe not short stories, but like smaller novels in between bigger books. I just need to have spaces in between things or have some kind of good plan because, okay, I started the European Travel for the Monstrous Gentleman by Theodora Goss a little bit, I think last week sometime. And I mean, I got like 125 pages in. And then I was like, well, I don't want to read this. And then that's when I started switching to the shorter Christmas novellas and short stories and stuff. So it's not that this is a problem. This is book 2 in the Athena Club series that follows The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. I really enjoyed the first book. I wanted to read the second book by the end of the year. We'll see what happens. This book is over 700 pages. 706 pages. So it could have gone on my biggest books on my TBR, but I had already started it, so I did not put it on there. Anyway, so and so far it's so interesting. Like they just went through travel. They're going from London to Vienna, and they're on a mission to help a woman who is being experimented on by these men in the Society for Alchemists. So it's really interesting, but why I paused, I don't know. I don't think it was because of the size. I really think I just, you know, I was much more getting towards the Christmas stuff, so I think I just wanted to switch over, and I shouldn't have started this book when I did. But anyway, so this is the book I want to try to focus on this next week. I think I can do it. I have 570 pages to read, so we'll see. I'm hoping to get this done by the end of the year. I'm hoping this will be the last, the one I get done by the end. But we'll see. It matters how today goes. Again, I am going to watch Return of the King, so at some point I have to stop reading. So we'll see if I can get a good chunk of it done today. If not, I need to get at least over 100 pages today, and then 100 pages every day to finish it. So we'll see how that goes. So I do want to read that. But then my mistake is that I tried to start the Vicomte de Baguillon by Alexandre Dumas. This is the 3rd book in the D'Artagnan romances. This is translated by David Coward from the French. So I really want to read this book. I meant to read it all year, but 2020 just didn't go my way. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just move it into, this was actually going to be a January book for me. I had it on my ideas for January. And then I realized I rewatched my 5-star prediction video and this was on it, and I'd completely forgotten that this was one of the books. So I thought I was done. Well, I'm not. So then I got all panicky and I started it. So I am 112 pages in on, I think it's 660, about 660. So yeah, I have over 500 pages of this book to go as well. About 550 pages here. So I have 2 books about 550 or 570 pages to read. And so what I'm going to do is, again, this is historical fiction, you know, written in I think it was 48. I'm not positive. You know, in France, and then, but this talks about 1660, and we're following all the stuff going on with Louis the, oh crap, I remember Louis the 9th. Is that right? No, Louis the 4th. Louis the 14th, sorry. And how in his issues romantically and about to be married to someone in Spain and stuff. And of course he has a lover who he doesn't want to give up, and there's all that drama there. And then there's so many political things in here, and I think that was part of my problem, is that there's so many notes in this one that I was reading them all because I don't know this time period at all. So, and again, D'Artagnan is still a captain of one of the captains of the Musketeers, and again, Dumas kind of plays with history with that. But and then we get to see Raoul, who was in 20 Years After, who he and his lady love, and what they're doing is it's just okay. It's all true. Like, I'm way rambling here. The point is that I have to put this book down. So what I've decided, even though this would be lovely to get done by the end of the year, it's not going to happen now because I did not read on Christmas, but I think a few pages. And then yesterday I read like 4 pages in this, and that was it. So I don't know how this is going to go. I have to put this I just have to put off the 5-star prediction ones. I'm just going to finish this. I'm going to pick this back up after I finish European travel, and I'm going to read this in January. So this is going to be on my January TBR, even though I've already started it, but I'm stopping it right now, and I'm going to restart, or not going to restart, but I'll come back to this in a week or 2 and then read it then. I just have to put it off. Yes, Cooper. Anyway, so so it's disappointing because I didn't get one done this year. But again, it's 2020, and then it's also disappointing that I didn't that I couldn't get it done this weekend, because that was what I was hoping for, but I just couldn't read it fast enough, and I just didn't want to push myself. And I think that was the best decision. And so I'm glad I did that, but it's still sad, but 5-star predictions are going to have to wait, because I have to get that done to see what happens, because I am enjoying it. It's slow reading. So anyway, that is it. Oh my gosh, I have talked so much, but I had so much that I had to go over. So I think that's everything. As I said, going into this next week, European travel is my main priority. I want to try to get it done. If I don't, I don't. I'm not a stickler for that. Like, it doesn't matter. I'd like to be able to say that, like, the next book that I read will be the Dumas book, and then I'll just continue that in January. But we'll see. I might have to throw in a book in between because they're both really big books. And as I said, I'm gonna be better about trying to get big books into my TBRs and stuff, but I have to separate them. Like, I have to put some books in the middle. I can't read them solid. And I think everybody agrees with that can go badly. So I think I just reminded myself before 2021 started. So anyway, I'm sorry you guys, this is really long. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys had a great weekend, and I'll have a great week coming up towards the new year when we finally get out of this year. That's what we're all kind of waiting for. So this week I probably should have a few videos up of, I'm going to have my series video, a recap, and then what I'm going to do in this next year, hopefully. And then I'm going to have a classics TBR kind of thing of the top ones I'm thinking I'm going to pick up. That does not mean it's going to happen. It's just my hopes for 2021. And then at the end of the week, I will have my my first TBR with my new prompts. So I will go through all that in that video. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.